Well now. Camera's shaking. And as in typical, me fashion, struggling to get the everything working on time or at a decent time. But we are live. It is March, and this is the March live stream. Welcome for all of you who are jumping in. Let's just see here. Make sure I've got the chat going. There's Nathan from Improved Carp Angling. Hello back. I wonder if I can hide the chat on my camera. There we go. But that's shaking like crazy because it's dangling from the ceiling. So it's just me today. There's Will. Hello, Will. Just me today. Goldie is working. He's been working like a dog, and well, not like a dog, harder than a dog. He's been working like crazy. So he's at work right now. I have a little bit of time, so I'm gonna do this month's live stream. And I'm sorry to say, I really don't have a whole lot of topics to go over. Unfortunately, I've not been out. Sadly, I have been dealing with some back issues. That's been going on for years. Long had back issues, but the last 2 months have been really, really bad. For every 2 or 3 days I get that I'm doing kind of okay enough to go to work and function, I lose about the same, where I'm really not able to do anything. On the upside, as fortunate as it's been that the last 2 weeks we've not had a video go up simply because we've not been out, we've not been able to go out and make any content. The upside is that next Saturday we will have a video for you, and it's a carp video. I have had my first carp of the year, and it's something that we started filming I think the end of January in a snowstorm, and then just never got the chance to get back until last weekend. Kevin and I had 3 hours to spare. We popped out to this little spot, and we were able to finish the video, and I was able to get my first carp of the year. Kevin got his first fish of the year. It was a catfish, but sadly we both missed a number of fish. It was pretty wild. They were right there in front of us. We could see them. They were incredibly spooky. Hopefully we caught enough of that on the video. I haven't actually seen all the footage yet. We haven't been able to transfer it over to the computer yet. Goldie's working on some other projects for a charity group that we help out with. Actually, I don't know how well you can see that, but that charity group there called Jace Wars. Goldie does a lot of work for them, graphically and otherwise. I've helped with some artwork and stuff for them over the years, and just volunteering our time as well. So he's got a lot going on with that. He's been working. I've been kind of down for the count because of my back. So yeah, just not gotten out. Sorry about the lack of videos, but we are working on it. Weather has finally turned. We're going to get out more often soon. I am recovering. It wasn't a full week that I put in at work this week, but I did get in 4 solid days, as tough as they were. And I'm moving around all right today. So yeah, the videos are coming. High Country Fly Life. On his way to work, just popping in. Great to see you again. I think you got my comments on your video today. Sorry I didn't get to watch it until today. Great video again, as always, from you. Those trout looked neat. Instead of having the solid green band across their back, it was almost like a mottled or marbled color to them. The spots were amazing. It's really, really neat looking fish in that lake you were in. So for any of you guys that are into trout fishing, if you haven't seen his latest video, High Country Fly Life, check it out. I think it was posted a week ago. Really, really good video as usual. Awesome looking fish though. Like you had up to a 7-pound brown, I think. You had some rainbows and browns. You had like a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7, something like that. It was crazy. Really, really good quality fish. Has anybody been out carp fishing at all? I know Will posted a picture of him with a trout. I don't know if we can actually verify if he caught it or not, but he posted a picture of him with a fish. Nathan, I'm pretty sure your area is just starting to get the ice out. Is that right? Yeah, ice just coming out in your spots. It'll be neat to see if you get out and drop your camera down and check your spots even before you start fishing them, if you can see the carp actually moving in on them yet or not. I don't know how deep your spots are, but it would be neat to see if the fish were actually getting in there like while it's still really cold, like before it actually warms up that much. That would be interesting, especially if you could see the ones that you're targeting, those specific ones you pointed out in that recent video that you were going to go after. That would be neat to see. High Country Fly Life. It's a tough lake to fish on, but there are some big fish there. 2 5-pound rainbows, a 4-pounder, a 6 and 7-pound brown to finish. That's nuts. And I'll be honest with you, it's fish of that quality and that size anywhere in the world are great quality. Like I live right on the Niagara River pretty much. It's my home river. It's blocks from here. And I've caught rainbows up to just over 20 pounds. One of the nicest looking ones I had was 18. Double figure trout are regular here. But it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. If you go down there and catch a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-pound rainbow, it is an amazing fish. And it's, you look at it and that's a great size fish. That's one neat thing about trout is it doesn't matter if it's a 2-pounder or a 20-pounder. They all look the same as far as like quality goes. You look at it and you are proud to catch that fish. It's pretty awesome. Nathan, few spots you can drop your camera off the break wall in 15 feet of water. That'll be interesting. 15 feet is not going to warm up that fast. Sometimes they don't move into the break wall area until the water warms up. I would think if you had enough sunny weather, that break wall would actually warm up the water right there. That would probably make sense, eh? The warm concrete would probably help pull them in right close. Maybe 10 feet off it's not as warm, but a foot or two away from that wall, they'll probably stack up along it. I've seen carp do that on sunny days near break walls or concrete pilings and such, where they'll actually stagger themselves in the levels, suspending, just to stay close to that wall, pull the heat off of it. Will Machette, March 21st at 8 a.m. That would be the next Fishing Canada episode on carp, if I'm not mistaken. So 8 a.m. March 21st, that's for our Canadian stations. What is it, CBC, I think it's on? Or you'll have to give me the station for sure. But that should have footage of you and Pete on Lake Scugog, and we're hoping it splices in some of the most recent Fishing Canada Carp Cup. It's on Global, okay. Yeah, I always get those channels mixed up because I don't watch TV. I'm strictly a streamer. So yeah, it's really interesting. I'm hoping to see what footage from the Carp Cup made it into that, because they filmed a lot. To be honest with you, with what I saw in the 2018 tournament that they did and the 2019 tournament that they did, I would say they probably filmed the same amount. I know they filmed a lot more of Demir and I while we were there. Just as we were setting out the deeper sonar, Demir had the deeper sonar and we were checking out the swim. The camera crew was there watching us do that and learning about how we use that sonar to analyze our swim, find out the depths, see if there were any fish moving around, any structure. So it would be neat to see if any of that actually makes it into the episode. Plus they were there for a number of live takes that I had. Kind of throughout the tournament, as well as right at the end. I think one of the last fish I had in the tournament was caught on camera. You've had a sneak peek at the trailer and it looks mega. Screw you and your sneak peeks. Give me some sneak peeks. Hook me up. High Country Fire Life. Put a couple of your recent videos on the watch list to watch today. That's great news. Sorry there hasn't been more recent videos. Like I said, down for the count last couple months, pretty much not really getting out at all. Really trying. I'm going to do everything I can to get a few things together, pack as light as possible. Even though that new Witchwood chair I got is really big, I know I haven't done the review on it yet. It's incredibly light. It's actually lighter than the old chair that I had. So I'll be able to take a good, comfortable chair to support my back, but gear-wise I'm going to have to travel really light, and I'm hoping to get out for some carp tomorrow. The river around here is, and the water around here is murky as can be. It rained a lot this week. Excuse me. Going to be mostly highlights, big fish, etc. Okay, well, we'll look forward to it. Fishing Canada, March 21st on Global at 8 a.m. I don't know if you're in other parts of the world if you can stream that channel because it is a Canadian channel. However, it shouldn't take long for them to put it on their YouTube channel. I would imagine once this actual televised season is done, it'll probably get uploaded there. We'll have to wait and see, but it shouldn't take long. Oh, do you guys like my mug? I got it for Christmas. It's a pug with a Santa hat, and when the coffee's really hot, all the lights glow. I'm really excited about it because I dig pugs. I saw that Urban Carp Collective is in there. Good to see you guys. Repping as always. Actually, seeing that, just to bring it up, I believe we do have one of the hats on sale. There's always something going on. Pop over to Urban Carp Collective, the web shop on Big Cartel. There's always some kind of sale or deal going on. You know, most of the time there's really cool stuff there. There's new stuff coming out all the time. I think they're working on a second sticker pack right now. Just keep your eye on the Facebook page. Keep your eye on Instagram. Pop over to the Big Cartel shop for Urban Carp Collective if you need any more, like hats, shirts, all that stuff. We're getting the nice weather. Get over there, get some more gear to be ready to be on the bank. I have to actually get a bunch of new shirts and stuff. Last season, I did a number on some of my shirts. The shoulders and the neck just sun bleached all right through because I was just out in the sun so much. It's bad enough that I wasn't wearing sunscreen enough, but yeah, I didn't look after myself as far as being in the shade last year, so I did a number on my clothing, so I got to get more. I also need some new hoodies, maybe a jacket, a couple more hats. I don't know. Pop over there and check it out if you need some more stuff. Let's see what else we got here. "2 years until it hits YouTube. Pine Post owns all content for 2 years." Well, we'll see. I would bet they could find a loophole to get it up sooner, to be honest with you. I really do think it'll be up sooner than that, as far as the Fishing Canada episode being on YouTube, but we'll find ways around it. I'm sure that people I know might be able to make copies of it or something like that. We'll figure it out, but hopefully everybody can see it streaming online some way. "High Country Fly Life. It's now autumn here in New Zealand. Water temperatures are now cooler, better for the trout." I'm hoping that means that they're going to feed more, be a little bit more active for you, because yeah, I agree, they definitely do way better in the colder temperatures here. The nice thing is our river stays really cold quite late into the season, so you can actually go down to the lower river and cast spoons and jigs, even fly fishing. Hey Tristan, good to see you there. Right into the end of May, you can be catching rainbows and lake trout down in the whirlpool and other sections of the lower river because it stays cold so long. So that makes it a little bit tough for carp fishing, because you want to be able to get down there, you know, right now when we're getting some warm weather, April, May, to really bag up on those chances for the big carp before they get ready for the spawn. But the water in the river is just too cold. So I'm hoping, because we had a mild winter, spring is starting sooner, summer should come in a little bit earlier. I'm hoping the carp will pick up in the big water. Until then, I do have some small water spots. I've been checking them out. There is one spot that drains all winter and then fills back up in the spring. They haven't filled that back up yet. As soon as they fill that up, it'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks of warm weather. The fish will rush right in there, and I'll have a good chance at getting some carp sunning themselves in the shallows. The nice thing about that spot right now is that I can go down there, I can take pictures of all the exposed structure on the bottom, where the little channels in the silt are, little humps, little rock bumps, any snags, stuff like that. So usually what I do this time of year is I pop down there, take a few photos of any changes from year to year, and then I go in there and kind of plan my approach, figure out exactly where I want to fish, what I need to avoid, what I think might hold more fish. And that paid off last year. You were able to see me do a couple of videos from that little reservoir spot that I hadn't fished in 6 or 7 years. I still check it every spring. That's never changed. It's just I got to fish it last year for the first time in a while. I will be spending a lot more time in that area this year. So we'll be trying a lot more techniques out in that little kind of area. It's a group of ponds. The nice thing about that spot is it's very similar, in my opinion, to a lot of the European fisheries that people fish in, the commercial fisheries, where it's very contained. You know, the fish are there, they're there for the season, they really don't leave until the water drains out in the fall, or like late fall, early winter. So even though we don't get into big fish, and from year to year there might be some fish that change, you know, one might not come back in it for a couple years, sort of thing. The behavior is pretty consistent, where you know what areas they're going to be in certain times of year. Like we know that on the east side, where there's a certain bay of this one section, they will flood in there for the mornings to get that morning sun, but by lunchtime they've moved right out into the middle into slightly deeper water. So it's really neat how I can follow certain patterns and kind of fish it the same way that I see some of the guys on YouTube from Europe and England. So I will be trying that out quite a bit this year, testing a lot of things out. The neat thing is that it's all going to be short range fishing. I can't do any long range fishing there because of the hydro lines that go over. So that's going to be really exciting, where I have to focus so much on like fishing under the rod tip. Like if you saw that video from last year fishing that reservoir, literally 5 feet of line, 6 feet of line out straight down below my rod tip, just kind of laying along the bank in front of me, is where I got that one fish. And that was probably the most savage take the whole trip that day. More of that is coming. I have a lot of time planned fishing different spots around there and different tactics I want to use. Let's see here. High country fly life, your trout will be getting ready for spawning for the winter. Interesting. Can you fish right through the winter there, or do those lakes freeze up there in the high country? I'm curious about that. Tristan, gearing up for a trip to fish with the other Tristan in Eugene at the end of the month. Hope they're awake by then. Hopefully you can crush it. Nathan, gotta run, need to get lunch together for the kids. We'll catch the rest later. Enjoy your lunch. Make sure that you tell them that I said to eat all their lunch, because if they don't, they are grounded and will be severely punished. You can tell them I said that. Will, margins, heart. Yes, I will be fishing the margins, not with hearts. Although I will say today, for Cody and Dan, who won the pop-ups, I do apologize because I've been down and I haven't really been able to do much. I hadn't yet gotten those pop-ups out to them. The pop-ups are done. I want to give them another booster. I've let them dry the last batch because I made you guys a fresh batch. I finished that last batch today. They are done. I'm going to give them probably 3 or 4 days of drying, and then I'm going to put another booster on them. I make up a batch of the concentrated liquid and soak it in there. Once that second batch of booster is in there and settled, they will be in the mail to you guys. I have your addresses. I'm sorry I haven't got them out to you yet, but they are done. They are almost ready. Like I said, one more patch of booster and they will be out. But with Will, you putting that heart in there, me doing the pop-ups this morning to finish that off for those guys, because the weather's going to be right. They're going to be able to catch on those soon. I was looking at some old flavors and stuff in that batch, and one thing that I thought about was how I've never caught on strawberry, whether it be strawberry flavored corn or pop-ups or boilies. Although everybody around me will, Jan really uses a lot of strawberry and always catches on it. I know guys that put strawberry jello in their corn and they catch a ton. I could be fishing right next to them using strawberry and not get a sniff. I don't know why, but I've never caught on strawberry. But I have a whole thing over there of strawberry flavoring and dyes. I could make a heart-shaped pop-up in strawberry flavor, put it out there. Be worth a shot. Something strange, but you know, I've even seen the videos where Matt Hayes caught on a strawberry. Like, that was amazing footage, that underwater footage of it taking a strawberry, and he actually caught it. But yeah, I've never been able to. So if you guys got any tips about ways to fish strawberry appropriately, I'd love to hear it, because I just haven't been able to do it. But I'm thinking about trying it this season again, giving it another whirl. Maybe in the reservoir, if I'm going to be fishing short range, maybe they'll take to strawberry. So in New Zealand, a lot of those lakes are closed during the winter, I would imagine because of spawning time. But it's good to hear that you do have a few that you can fish, so you'll be able to keep going. Just having the last few months where I think I've only been out twice since January, and one of them was last weekend, and that was for 3 hours. Yeah, it's cabin fever, going nuts. Now, if you kind of see around me, I'm not in my typical surroundings over at the bar where all the fishing gear is. That's a disaster right now, because since I've been home and I've not been able to do much, get up and move around a lot, what I've been doing is I've been kind of grabbing buckets and totes and bags and stuff like that, and going through some of the fishing gear to try and organize it. So I'm actually sat in my art studio right now. I've also been slowly putting this back together, basically out of inspiration from my son. I used to draw a lot. I worked for some independent companies as a freelancer, and I would do illustrations for independent comic books, posters, covers, promotional artwork, things like that. And I just one day up and left. I got frustrated with it, walked away from it completely, and that was 4 years ago. Just went gung-ho into the fishing channel and really put all my efforts into that, and really love how that's gone along. But seeing my son with his artwork has really inspired me to get back to it, so that's what I'm working on. So kind of being down for a little bit has helped me kind of get some of this stuff put back together, and I've started sketching again. So part of being in here is also a test, because I will be doing live streams when I set up a new YouTube channel specifically surrounded with art for me and my son. I wanted to see if I can make all this work in here without taking up too much space, and it's working. So I'm really happy that we get to do a little bit of this as well in here, because it's cozy. I also know that for sure now I need to adjust this chair better so that I'm leaning back a little bit, because I feel like I'm going to slide off. This chair has not been properly set for 4 years. I need to get all this stuff ironed out. So back to fishing. Your rainbows are active there in the winter. Yeah, that would be my guess. It'd be neat to get some browns through the winter time. They always have their really nice colors then. It's good to see that you can still fish through there. I'm looking forward to a winter video. Maybe a lake that's got a little bit of ice on it while you're out there fly fishing. I'd like to see that. Now, Tristan or any of the guys that might be watching from the UK or anything like that, or Europe, west coast of the US or Canada, anywhere where you guys maybe don't have big freeze-ups, has anybody actually been getting carp the last little while, maybe the last month or two? Or is it all just starting now? I saw another video from a guy that I think is relatively local to here. He was out like the beginning of this week, we had, I think it was like 11 or 12 degrees the one day. In the sun, I think it got up to like 14 degrees where there was no wind. It was really, really warm, which is funny because I saw snow yesterday, but it looked like he capitalized on that, went down to his local creek and had 2 carp right off the bat. So, you know, they're waking up here. Has anybody else already been getting into them? 5:30 a.m. You're about to start work. High Country Fly Life. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. 5:30 a.m. So it's already Sunday there. I love that you guys are in the future. It's so awesome. Have a great, safe day at work. Will is going to try zig fishing in a week or so. Isn't everything still frozen there? Like, have you actually had it thaw out yet that you could try zigging, or have you found spots where the fish are actually suspending yet? 'Cause as far as I knew, you weren't even out scouting yet. Stuff's opening up. Oh, good. Keep me posted. I want to hear if everything's opening up and fish are moving. What was it? I think Jason in Ottawa posted a picture the other day of some fish. There was like a vehicle-sized opening in the ice that he was checking out on the river, and there was like 6 or 7 carp. It was a beautiful picture he posted of the carp just sunning themselves in this little small opening in the ice. It was really, really cool. So, you know, even as far as Ottawa, it's starting. We're getting ready. Typically, they're suspending 1 foot below the surface in the canals. Send me some pictures or some video clips. I want to see this. Also, make sure you look all the way around so I know exactly where you are, because I may have a day or two that I can just drive up and steal your spot. I won't tell you though. I'll wait till I'm leaving and then be like, hey, I was just in your spot, caught all your fish, because they were 1 foot below the surface in the canal. What else is going on? Come on, other people got to be getting into fish or trying more than Will. Come on. I think for tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to be traveling light, traveling simple, with the water clarity right down. I think there was about 5 inches of visibility when I drove over this morning to take a look. I popped out to grab a coffee, and yeah, the river is muddy from all that rain, and we've had a lot of strong wind the last couple of days. I will be fishing on the bottom. I'm probably not even going to use pop-ups, probably be bottom baits. Very simple. Blowback rig. The spot I have in mind, I fish at about 80 yards to a drop-off, and it's not straight out from where I'm fishing. It's kind of an angled cast to the left, but I'm really hoping that the warm weather we've had this week, despite it being relatively cold today and tomorrow, I'm hoping the warm weather has really helped maybe get a few fish moving around. Let's see here. Typically, okay. Urban Carp Collective, how did you hear about UCC, and how do you find the contrast with fellow representatives? Oh, he's hitting me with all kinds of questions here. All right, how did I hear about the UCC? I think it was a Facebook post, Facebook or Instagram, when they were brand new, and I liked the idea of this movement, this group of people that can get together and share their experiences about urban, not just urban fishing, but fishing in general. You know, fishing has always been strong with camaraderie and community between anglers. You know, you see a guy wearing a hat that represents a brand or a bait. You guys automatically kind of connect over that, just like fans of any genre, music, movies, things like that. You've always got those core groups of people that, you know, they just share that one thing in common. And it was good to see that this was a group that was focused on positivity, being a sense of community, sharing your experiences with one another, being part of that, what seemed like an exclusive group that wasn't cutting off everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, it was like this core group of, you know, we're the UCC, we're the Urban Carp Collective. We're all about, you know, being positive and pushing urban fishing and fishing in general and getting people out there. But it wasn't it wasn't this isolated thing. It was open to everybody, and anybody could be part of this movement and part of this collective. And that's just why I started following it. And started off with I picked up a mug and the sticker sets, and as merchandise has kind of come along, I've kind of jumped on it and grabbed it up. And then I just got lucky enough to be asked to be a representative. So, you know, it was kind of exciting at that moment. As far as the contrast with fellow reps go, it's pretty awesome. Everybody's different, and everybody brings something different to the table as far as how we all kind of share our experiences with one another and push the positivity out there. But one thing that's really cool is that as different as we all are, we're all very much the same. We all have that same kind of like-minded goal of let's connect with one another and bring other people into our circle. Look at all the questions here. Have you took anything from a fellow angler and introduced it into your own style of carp fishing? Everything to do with my carp fishing has been taken from fellow anglers. I've fished for carp for decades now. But it wasn't until I think around 2011, 2012 where I actually discovered European style carp fishing. So everything that I could find on YouTube for those first couple of years, got a couple friends, my friend Jesse, haven't been fishing with him for a number of years yet, but I've been really pushing to. You know, we picked up our first bit of European carp gear, and we kind of worked with each other to figure out what we had to do to get fish. And when we started catching with this equipment, it got really exciting. I then became a little bit more obsessed, and I started seeking out the local groups. So at the time it was the Wild Carp Club of Ontario. I got into chatting with them, got to meet some of them in person, and then got to hang out at some of their actual events, which we have videos of all the events that I did back in the day. And just being able to learn from all those people. You know, Jan is one of those ones that I still have a lot of contact with. Try to fish with him whenever we can. And learned a lot from him. He's from Holland and was already doing this long before I did. Jeff, you know, Clint came in. You know, even Brian, I haven't talked to Brian in a while, but, you know, he was running the group at the time, and I learned a lot from him as well. I really can't go into specifics about what I've taken from them. Just the ability to have that camaraderie where everybody wanted to share these tactics and help you learn and get into this new style of carp fishing that just isn't over here yet. You know, it's growing, but it's still just not, people aren't awake to it yet here. So really that's what I've taken from them, not just techniques and tactics, but that kind of shared sense of adventure and excitement in this new thing. And that's also part of what kind of led me into the UCC, is that same sense of camaraderie. It's just on a global scale. Let's see here. The UCC lettering hats are back in stock this week. So just like I mentioned at the start of the live stream, guys, the store over on Big Cartel for Urban Carp Collective, like I mentioned, there's always some cool stuff happening there. The lettering hats are back in stock this week. What do you got here, Will? Inner city fishing opportunities is what will create more advocates for conservation in our province. I agree. Not just that, though. We can't just focus on the inner city fishing opportunities. That's where you're going to reach the majority of people. I completely agree with you there. It will help a huge amount as far as conservation, fish care, you know, things that just aren't looked at over here as well as I think they need to be. But you can't overlook outside of those inner city and those urban environments. You got to get into the rural areas where the focus out there has always been about catch and keep, or they're not necessarily educated the right way about the carp fishing because they're not surrounded by that community. So you can build the community in those urban environments as much as you want, and that's great, it's important. But if you don't also try to bring those rural communities into the fold, get those rural anglers to know about what we're doing and why we're doing it, you're still going to have that element of a fight with conservation and fish preservation and fish care on your hands, because they're just not exposed to that. So, you know, push as much as you can on the urban environments to reach the masses, absolutely, but don't neglect the rural anglers as well. This year, do you intend to catch some carp on a different country, coronavirus depending? Kappa, oi oi, good to see you. Do I intend to catch some carp in a different country? I want to. There's a few countries that I do actually want to catch carp in. To be honest with you, what have you missed, Kappa? Lots of conversation. Urban Carp Collective has bombarded me with questions, which I'm doing my best to answer. We got a few of the regulars in here having a good chat. I hope you're getting out and getting some fish. If you are, let us know. As far as fishing in another country, it's not on the cards this season for me. I'll be honest with you, I could drive across the border, which is right down the street, and, you know, over here we're only allowed to use one rod. I can go over there and I can use three in the same body of water. Literally, I can sit on the Canadian side of my river here, fishing with one rod, with binoculars, looking at somebody fishing with three directly across from me. You know, it's a couple kilometers across that river, or 1 or 2 kilometers. It's a long way, but to be able to see with binoculars or telescope, you know, like you can just look across and literally see somebody fishing with three rods. It's pretty rough, but I don't really have this gnawing drive to go over there and fish in the States. I will at some point. I keep talking about it with Goldie. We're going to do it. There's a few places not far over the border that I want to try, but it's really abroad. You know, I really want to fish the Gran Canaria. I really want to go try my luck in the UK. A trip like that's not in the cards this year, especially now with, you know, I've missed a lot of work because of my back. Just trying to get ready for what will hopefully be a tournament announcement soon for our big Canada Carp Cup. Just budgeting for that's going to be tough, but leaving the country at some point to go chasing carp is on my mind. When? Not 100% sure yet. Lee Hoff, morning all. It's afternoon now, but good morning. Will. You're talking more about the virus. I don't want to talk about the virus. It's crazy. It's causing a lot of problems. You know, the health aspect is one thing. Let the health officials deal with that. But just the fact that everything is shutting down everywhere. Locally, you know, everything's nuts. I went and got groceries last night. The grocery store in my little village is, you know, it was insane in there. You know, I don't want to get going on that topic because it takes away from fishing. Will, don't talk like that. You don't know. Maybe canceled for you, but you don't know. And until we know for sure, let's not even think about it being canceled. We'll have to see. Until I get an official announcement that it's canceled, I'm not going to play to that. Hey, Will did stock up on toilet paper. He bought a 12-pack, so that should last him like 6 months. Because, you know, he's full of shit. He doesn't let it out. Kappa, have you been fishing? Have you had anything lately? I'm curious. We got some UCC sheets on the go. If you know, you know when you've got to go. I can't argue with that. Crow Black, good to see ya. Fishing alone is totally safe. It is. Fishing with someone close is also safe. You know, don't forget that. If you are looking out for yourself and your friends and they're doing the same, you know, you can still get out and fish with your buddies. You've not been fishing. Just replaced your bivvy from the France trip. Oh my. I'm tired. I'm sore. I really want to go fishing, but I'm really worried about how much it's going to do me in. Taking a mate is good for the soul. Absolutely it is. It's essential. I still fish alone every now and then. I hate it. I need to have someone else there. Whether it's because we're filming and it's always better to have a couple of us to kind of bounce back and forth off of with comments or banter or whatnot. But just having someone right there to share the experience with you, it's important. You know, being able to fish with a friend is probably more important than catching, because having that connection with someone is so valuable, especially in times like these when, you know, everything's getting shut down and people are being quarantined and all this crazy stuff is going on. You need that contact. You know, you don't have to be shaking hands and hugging and licking each other's cheeks. That's not necessary. Just being in the presence of someone close is important, and it really makes fishing so much better. Cap is checking out some new waters for the coming season. Awesome news. Keep us posted. Check back in with us for the live stream so that we know what you're up to. I'm going to be doing a little bit of the same. One of my big focuses this year, as I've talked about over the past little while with the live streams and some of the videos, is that I'm going to be traveling light. I'm going to be keeping things much more simple. I'm also not going to be venturing out too far. I'm going to be staying relatively local. Like I said, I'm going to be fishing that reservoir system quite a bit this year. I have a couple other spots. Our secret spot that we've done so many videos in, caught so many great fish, where Goldie got his first 30, I got my 40. We can't park anywhere near where we were fishing anymore. That's all been closed off. We can still access that water, but there's about a 2.5 kilometer walk to get in from the other side. So we'd have to walk 2.5 kilometers to get to that spot and then cast at, I think it's 104 yards to reach the same water that we were fishing before. A little bit more work than I'm willing to do. So I've decided to focus my attention on smaller waters for kind of my short sessions. You know, if I got half a day or something like that. And then I've got the Niagara River where I'm going to be spending a lot of my time if I want to chase some bigger fish or try some different tactics. I'm going to be keeping it incredibly simple this season to try and maximize on how many fish I'm actually catching, not so much chasing the big ones. Crow Black, you're absolutely right. Shared experience. Anything as a shared experience makes life better. Not just fishing, but again, you know, it's that sense of community. Just you and one other person, your team, your community. You know, adding a couple others into that makes it that much better. You know, even if you do have to fish alone, like I have from time to time, I'm not without my phone. I'm on the phone with Demir, usually getting a call from Will right when I need it to be quiet and pristine, or I'm finding that moment of serenity. My phone goes off because it's Will, and you know, he found some junky reel in a flea market and he wants to clean it up. If I didn't have that contact, that session would suck. I'm out there going through the motions to catch fish. It's better when even if my friends aren't there, I get that phone call from them, or I call them, or just a little bit of banter on Facebook. That helps get through that session. Will fishes alone because no one loves you. You're partly true. Okay, that's partially right. Your wife loves you. She fishes with you. Why? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know how she puts up with you. The only reason we don't fish with you more, Will, is because you live too far away. We'd fish with you more if you lived closer, but you don't, and it's easier on my ears when you're not that close. At least with a phone call, I can hang up on you if you go too far. Let's see, the world's smallest violin playing for you. Nice. Junky reel. Yes, I said junky reel because you like to pick up old junky reels. I'm a fan of old gear. You've seen my collection, you know, that I keep behind the bar. I have a bunch of them, but that's where they stay. I have no desire to go and grab them and you know, get them out on the bank. You got to remember, a lot of those old reels, like the Mitchell 300s and stuff like that, I used growing up. You know, the Cardinal 3s, stuff like that. Those old reels are the reels that I started with. You know, hand-me-downs from my uncles and whatnot. So a lot of that stuff, I know what they're like. Yeah, they're great, but you know what? This new modern stuff is the shiznit. I like it. It's the good gear. That old stuff I can put on a shelf and just look at that as a memory. I don't need to get it out. Cool that you're doing that. I like seeing people use vintage gear on the bank. Sometimes I think, Will, you push it a little bit to, like, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this, and you've got 10 old setups. Meanwhile, you've got so much great modern gear that you do a lot better with. But, you know, you're going to be pushing your YouTube channel a lot more this year. Do a whole series on vintage gear and getting out and catching. It'll be awesome. I'd love to see it. Those finds are amazing, you goofball. I'm not saying they're not amazing. I'm just saying that you get too excited over them. How is the OG bait runner junk you wingnut? It is. Enough said. Conversation over. There. Oh, it's so much fun giving you a hard time. But you see, if we weren't doing this, we wouldn't have that sense of community. Even in this world where everything's going nuts right now, we can still laugh and carry on and have the banter. You know, I'm not on the bank, but I'm having just as much fun as I would be if you guys were there. So I really appreciate everybody tuning in and joining in with the chat. This kind of makes my day and helps me get through how tough the last couple of weeks have been, kind of glued to my couch and limiting my movement, you know, between you know, my son getting me back into my art and sketching with him and really getting that connection with him going. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for following the channel, following what we do, and really jumping in to participate with these live streams. It really does mean a lot to me, and I really do thank you so much for it, and I really appreciate it. Now that sappy part's over with, is there anything, I don't know if we've touched on this in previous live streams. I got about 12 minutes, 15 minutes that I'm going to keep going for, because my back's starting to stiffen up, and I really need to spend some time with the boy. He's upstairs playing right now. I got the whole afternoon with him, so I want to capitalize on that. Have we touched on in the last few live streams what some of you guys are going to be doing? You know, Will's going to start zigging soon. He really wants to catch on zigs. Excuse me. He's going to be doing some vintage gear fishing this year. We know that. I'm going to be focusing, traveling light, traveling simple, keeping everything to a minimum, fishing more locally than traveling abroad or you know, even a couple hours away. What are some of you guys going to do? You know, Kappa, what's your plan for the year? You said you're going to be checking out some new spots. Do you have a goal in mind? Are you looking for you know, a specific target fish? That's another thing. Goldie and I have that target fish that he found, that huge koi that he found last year. We're going to be chasing that. Again, that's local. That's a 15-minute drive up the highway, and we're on that spot. So again, local fishing. We'll be doing a lot more fishing in that spot, not just for that target fish, but you know, we really want to explore that area more. We've really only fished 2 swims in that spot. Will, you're going to be working on more articles for Fishing Canada. Anyone have any topics they want to see? Yes, how can we get Fishing Canada to fire you? I'll talk to Angelo. We'll see. Kappa, your goal this year is to catch a fish. I hope that you are incredibly successful and exceed all your expectations on that goal this year. Yeah, just to break the damn blank. You know what? I agree with you. I got lucky last weekend. Like I said before, Kevin and I snuck out for 3 hours. I got my first carp of the year. Now, if you don't include the one-day ice fishing I had in January where I drove up through a horrendous blizzard, drove up to Lake Simcoe by myself and ice fished all day by myself because Goldie wasn't feeling well that morning. I had a ton of perch that day, but because of all the problems with the equipment, the footage that we have just isn't useful, so we never posted the video. Other than the perch that I had that isolated day, this carp is the first fish I've had since my birthday in the middle of December last year when I had that great steelhead with Dave. It's been tough not getting fish, especially for such a mild winter. I've had winters so much more harsh, and I've done so much better. But yeah, it was great to break that blank, and I hope everybody else gets on that on the wagon of blank breaking in the next couple weeks. Will, you posted a rooster. I know what that means, but I'm implying that you're just letting everybody know that you're a chicken. Kappa, Target is a 45-acre lake that has very low stocks and suffered a fish kill a couple years ago. That would be neat, just to get in there and have that challenge of seeing what's there. Dude, if you've been eyeing it for a couple years, get on it. That's one thing that I would say, just get on it, give it hell. Find those fish, see what's in there, see what kind of reward you can get for that effort. If you guys watched I think it was the first Dave's vlog, when Dave Pendlebury did that video on the canal, he worked on that spot for quite a while before he finally got the rewards of catching that fish. And then the vlog that he did in that the carp video he did at the end of, I think it was like the fall of last year, we put up that other carp spot he eyed that spot for 2 or 3 years before he finally put a line in there. And man, unbelievable the quality of fish he got there. Goldie and I have since taken a walk through there right at the end of the year. I think it was like November we were walking in there, and just the other swims that Dave didn't even explore. He literally went to the first available swim in that spot, and it looks amazing. Walking down just a little bit at some of the other swims, it's incredible. The whole area just full of huge big trees in the water and stuff like that. You got all these open swims and really high banks. There's got to be massive fish in there that nobody touches. Really, people just go there, dunk a worm, and maybe catch a few bass or catfish or some gobies, and that's it. But to know that we can go there and try that out, just not knowing anything about what's in there other than that one swim he fished, it's going to be exciting. But yeah, it's Kappa, man. Same thing. He eyed it for so long, putting the work in, got him huge rewards. So I can't wait to hear how well you do there. Will loves the element of the unknown. But you think you know everything, so how could you possibly love the element of the unknown? Yeah, sick burn, I know. It's not just for me. Everybody else enjoys that when I kind of throw shots at you, so boom. Got to push the boundaries, absolutely. Like, even though I'm taking it simple and kind of reining everything in this year for me, I'm still pushing boundaries. The boundary being, I'm not going to travel as heavy. My back's not going to be able to take it. I'm not going to have the time that I want. I'm going to have time constraints on me. So I'm going to have a lot of boundaries that I kind of have to stay within, but it's where I'm going to be pushing those to really the pushing for me is to stay in those boundaries for this year. So it's going to be interesting. So much that you can kind of go at that so many different ways. I really hope that that adventure is going to be exciting for you. You know, a big low stock spot like that, it could be really neat. Will you appreciate the banter? You better, because I'm not stopping. It's going to keep happening. Remember, I was stuck on a lake in the UK with a bunch of Westerners and ample cider. Nothing really scares you anymore. Well, guess what? I'm going to probably push that. Next time we can have like a weekend up your way where we can actually put in a long session, a couple of days or something like that, I'll scare you. I'll make it happen. Kappa, health allowing. Obviously, certainly with everybody, that's important. Look after your health. You know, fishing is part of that, though. Don't forget that fishing is a good thing for health. It keeps us positive, keeps us going. LL 2020. Will, don't use codes. I don't get it. It's like when you use big words around Pete Bowman and he gets mad at you. Don't use codes with me. I don't understand what you're saying. Oh, coffee is done. And got a few minutes left. Anybody else have anything going on, or looking to get out maybe in the next 2-3 weeks? I do want to say this, even though the Facebook page is not overly active, just because I don't spend a lot of time on there. I really spend all my time on Instagram. And even though I don't put a lot of posts up, I am still quite active on Instagram, keeping an eye on things. If you guys get any kind of catches that you want to throw our way, some photos or little write-ups, let me know. I'll post it on the Facebook page. I will post them on Instagram if you like. I want to see what everybody else is doing. How you guys are getting along, what you're catching. Blur out the backgrounds if you don't want anybody to know where you are, especially if you're not local. I'm not going to know where you are. I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. But yeah, I'd love to see some photos sent in. You can send them through Messenger on the Facebook page or on Instagram. I'll put those up there. And please, by all means, continue to, I love the support that you guys are giving. Share it with your friends. Because I forgot to turn off the notifications on my phone. Share with your friends so that we know that we can get some more audience, get some more people in here for the banter, for the live streams every month. It'd be great. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not. You don't want to be out having a seizure, so definitely, look after your health. Make sure it's safe to be out, but certainly being out will help, I'm sure. I hope all goes well and you get all that sorted out there, Kappa. Will, you might go deadbaiting soon as well. Visit the canal in the next week. We'll determine whether I am zigging or deadbaiting. Why don't you zig with dead baits? Little tiny minnows, and get some pop-ups stuffed in from one of the ends. Suspend it. Carp will take that. Pike will take that. Boom. New tactic. Live fish pop-ups, or dead bait pop-ups. It's my new thing. Give it a try, Will. You're up for that challenge. I know you are. If anyone has any issues, fishing is officially self-isolation, the cure for coronavirus. Yes. If you guys actually follow Matt Hayes, he put up a video this morning from his home in Norway. Having just left the UK and gone back, the officials have told him to self-isolate just because coronavirus is in the UK. He was talking about how important it is, to get out and enjoy some fishing, be outside. If you look at different cases from history, I think it was like 1918 when the big influenza thing hit. One of the biggest things that they found was people that were outside in the sun, in the fresh air, were actually healing faster and recovering faster and better than the people that were being treated in tents and indoors. Being outside helps. You know, take all the precautions you have to take, absolutely, but being outside is important. Inject it with air. Kappa, yes, we do that with worms for bass here. You get those little kits called worm blower kits, and it's literally a tube with a hypodermic needle. Shove it in the worm, put a little bit of air in there, and it pops up. But, you know, that's only going to maintain buoyancy for so long. I want to see Will actually shove bits of pop-up in a bait fish. Jeff Carrero, what's the earliest I can go out for carp? The earliest you can go out for carp is the earliest you find some. Plain and simple. They're very affected by temperature, and anybody in this chat can tell you that. You need a certain temperature for them to be actively feeding, but when you get these really, really sunny days, even in the you know, kind of milder, colder temperatures right now, you can find fish sunning themselves in the shallows. Now, you don't necessarily want to target. If you see a big group of fish sitting there sunning themselves and the water's still really cold, yeah, you can put a line on them. You could probably catch one if you wait it out long enough. But those fish really aren't ready to be active yet. They're still kind of in their hibernation or their winter slumber. It can be hard on them dealing with a battle. It could be hard for them to recover. Ideally, you want to wait till you get some more warm temperatures, warmer water, so the fish are moving around a little bit more actively on their own, and that we're not forcing them to. You know, Will's throwing some good information about temperatures in there. Of course, he's throwing his big words in there. But yes, he has posted some articles on Fishing Canada's website. There's lots of information on YouTube. A lot of the big companies, Mainline, Corda, Nash, they all have videos about winter fishing. Check out some of those resources. Just because it's over in the UK doesn't mean the principles don't apply here, because our winters are harsher. So, you know, earlier this week it was 11, 14 degrees, something like that. You could get out and actually target some carp and find some if you found where they were. Sunday, I found a few fish. I was able to get my first one of the year. So the limit is really based on weather and temperature. If you go back in our videos, we did the 12 months of carp, where we caught a carp in every single month of the year, starting, I think it was the first couple of days of January. I had a 7-fish day. It was a mild winter. You know, we had ice on the water, but it wasn't so cold that those fish weren't still feeding. So, Jeff, I hope that answered your question. You have tons of resources out there. It really boils down to, first, find the fish, watch them, study them, see what their state is. If they're moving around or you see them having periods of getting out and feeding, go ahead and target them. If you watch them for an hour and they don't move from the spot that they're in, leave them alone. Wait till it warms up a bit. Yeah, Cap is also adding some useful information in there. They're prone to shock just after they wake up and get mobile. So like I said, if you see them and they're actively moving around, target them. But if they're just holding still and they're all huddled together, like they often do, you know, in certain places, you know, the park lake that we go to, they all huddle together in a group. If they're not moving, really don't push them to. Wait for them to start moving on their own. Kappa, that was a good series. I hope you're referring to the 12 months of carp. Really, really proud of that. And still, I often look back on a few of those sessions just for the memories of it, because I think they were great. Will, stop putting words in there in the chat that I have to go in and improve. I know you only put arse, but YouTube automatically flags that as a swear word. You want to shove a cork up a mackerel's arse. You could. Absolutely you could. Oh, my phone. Sorry guys, I forgot to turn off the notifications there. Alright, we've just been going over an hour. I hope I answered the questions that people had. Sorry if I didn't get to any. I hope you guys all do well. Now that the weather's breaking, I hope you guys get out. As far as this crazy virus thing going, everybody be safe, look after one another, look after yourselves, and you know, when we get to the April live stream, I'm hoping to hear that people are catching. Again, like I mentioned a little while ago, send some photos over. I'll post them on our social media, you know, obviously giving you credit, you and your fish. But, you know, I'd like to see how you guys are doing. Doesn't matter where in the world you are. Doesn't matter what species it is. I don't care if it's carp, trout, if bass is open where you are because you're in a different part of the world where the seasons are different, pike, walleye, anything. If you guys are catching, I'd love to hear about it, and I'd love to post the photos on Facebook, Instagram, what have you. So everybody, look after yourselves, look after one another, get on the bank, get outside. Kappa's throwing non-contactual hugs to all. And you know what, Kappa, we really appreciate it. Again, thank you guys so much for this sense of community and your participation. Again, please share with your friends so that we can build this community and help it grow. And not just that, the community that I'm part of and that we're all part of. Will is in there as a representative as well with the Urban Carp Collective. We talked about, you know, the merchandise that's there. It's available for everyone to help kind of give you that symbol. You know, you're walking by in that crowd and hey, you know, you're part of that group too. But everybody, get other people involved in fishing. This is a great year to do that. Once all this virus stuff blows over and we're back to the norm, people are going to need stuff to do. Let's get them out on the bank. Let's get them outside. Let's get them enjoying the outdoors. Will just throw out virtual hugs in the shower. And on that note, we're done. Will, you will be getting a stern phone call shortly. Again, thank you everybody. Glad to see you all. Hope everybody does well. We'll check back with you in April for our live stream. Again, second Saturday of the month, as always. And yeah, man, I hope you all start catching soon. I will keep you posted. If I catch tomorrow, I don't know if I'll have the camera with me, but if I catch tomorrow, I will have photos up on Instagram this week. If I don't, I won't have photos of me with a fish. But, you know, maybe I'll fall in the water or something and at least have something funny to post. So until April, guys, take care of everyone, including yourselves. Get out on the bank, get some fishing done, and let's have a great time. Oh my goodness, Goldie's in there. Must be on a break. Good to see you, Goldie. Get back to work. Ciao. Oh my God, where's the buttons?